conflict between Israel and the Palestinians hadn't seen anything like this for years. 11 days of escalating violence sparked by rising tensions in Jerusalem. The fighting would leave more than 250 dead, including more than 100 children. Thousands were wounded, the majority in Gaza. Israeli airstrikes inflicted huge damage on the territory, launched in response to Hamas rocket fire. Several high-rise buildings were destroyed. The tensions were rooted in history, but the 2020 Abraham Accords were also blamed for inflaming the situation significantly. Brokered by Washington, the deal normalized relations between Israel and 4 Arab countries, arguably isolating the Palestinians. Eventually, a fragile truce was agreed with Egypt. Both sides celebrated what they called their own victory. In Lebanon, tensions in the deeply divided country finally boiled over in October. The capital, Beirut, became a war zone as sectarian clashes erupted on the streets over an inquiry into last year's port blast. Hezbollah and its allies wanted the judge leading the probe to be removed. At least 6 people were shot dead in the gun battle, more than 30 were wounded. On August the 4th, 2020, hundreds of tons of ammonium nitrate engulfed the port of Beirut, killing more than 200 people and injuring thousands. The substance had been improperly stored. In September, after months of political paralysis, the country finally got a new government. But the challenges facing Lebanon's new administration are some of the severest in the nation's history. The currency has collapsed amid soaring unemployment and inflation, while electricity, fuel and medicine are in short supply. The turmoil in Lebanon was in stark contrast to earlier in the year when, in March, Pope Francis visited Iraq. One of the most symbolic moments was his meeting with Grand Ayatollah Ali al-Sistani, the spiritual leader for millions of Shia Muslims. The two men would later pray together in the holy city of Najaf. Despite fears over security and the coronavirus, the pontiff brought with him a message of interfaith tolerance. For many minorities, that had meaning, given that more than 1 million Christians had been driven out of the country in recent years. Before leaving, Francis also celebrated Mass at a football stadium in the Iraqi Kurdish city of Erbil.